All right, we're back on the Ringer NFL show. Diante, you're up. What lesson did you learn in Week 13?
Is that Kansas City better go undefeated the rest of the way, because if they give home field advantage to the Bills are walking to the Super Bowl. Right now, they look like the best team in the NFL to me. Like, I look at, and obviously, San Francisco's dealing with injury problems. They're kind of limping towards the finish line in a lot of ways, and I think that we'll get to some of the recent updates with some of the injury issues that they're having. But I think that when I was watching the Sunday Night Football game, I had this thought that there are identity wins, right, where a team just kind of plays to what they want to do, and you get to see them, kind of manifest all the play calls, the scheme, the use of personnel. And then to me, there are institutional wins where you can feel from a top-down level that this is what the team was built to do, and they can do it against anybody. And the Bills have done that in their high-profile games of late. Basically, after those losses to Houston and Baltimore, this has just been a team that's leaned on exactly what they've been trying to build this team out to be, and it's been successful. You look at what they did on the ground in the ground game, almost 4.5 yards after contact per rush, season best from them. They averaged 7.5 yards per carry this week. They've been one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. I mean, James Cook averaged 7.5 yards per carry. As a team, they averaged 5.8, so just under 6. I thought that for them, winning at the line of scrimmage and basically just taking the heart out of San Francisco's defense, which has struggled to stop the run all year, but clearly was hapless. Whether the weather conditions were ideal or not, there was nothing that San Francisco was going to do to win at the line of scrimmage. And when they're able to play that kind of football game where all Josh Allen has to do is extend every handful of dropbacks to be able to find a Dalton Kincaid or find a Khalil Shakir, and you're able to get those shallow crosses and those over routes running into a bunch of voids in coverage because these teams have to crowd the line of scrimmage to stop the run game. I don't know how you stop a team that's as balanced as Buffalo is right now. And they didn't have to lean on the return of Matt Milano to play well defensively in the way that we talked about in the preview show earlier this week. So to me, I think that in terms of checking boxes, I don't know if any team is playing to peak capacity at the level that Buffalo has been lately, especially relative to competition level. And right now, to me, I don't know how anybody in the AFC can feel like they can go to Highmark Stadium and beat that team if they had to in a playoff environment.
I mean, if I'm Baltimore, I'm still kind of confident I can do it. I still haven't seen Buffalo tackle Derrick Henry in like 5 years. So like that would be the one thing I would cling on to. And I still don't trust the defense. I don't trust the defense against a good quarterback in the playoffs. I need to see it. And I still don't trust the offense it has been a couple of months now that we've seen this team kind of be forced to play in a certain role, and we've seen Josh Allen get forced into hero mode, but I still think that's in this team. And I mean, but you could say that you could point out a flaw with every contender in this league, and not every team has a quarterback that's playing at this level. I think Josh Allen just gives them immunity to like any style of game. They can fit into any style of game. I mean, what did he do tonight? He averaged over 8 yards per drop back in this slop that they played in. Brock Purdy could barely throw the ball at times in this. And Josh Allen didn't seem bothered at all. He was one of his best games in terms of like efficiency, offensive efficiency. He only had 18 dropbacks, but he didn't need that many dropbacks with the way the game was going. He's just an amazing player. And I mean, I've been Team Lamar for MVP all season long, but these are the types of games where you start to rethink that.
All right, Ruiz. So I feel like we do this exercise. I don't know if it's every week, every few weeks. One team out of the AFC to get to the Super Bowl. You have to choose right now. Who do you got?
I mean, I almost have to pick Buffalo by default.
You don't have to.
I'm sticking with the Ravens. I'm going.
All right, yeah. The recency bias. If you feel it's the Ravens, it's the Ravens.
I just can't get that game out of my mind from September. And I know it's from September, and these teams are going to be totally different by the time January rolls around. But Derrick Henry won't be different, and he will still be there. Number 8 will still be there, and they'll still have to reckon with that two-headed monster in the backfield. And I don't think, like, even as good as Buffalo's defense has looked, and it's looked a lot better than I thought it would with this, like, no-name roster, especially on the back end, I don't think it's suited to stopping that style of run game.
Deontay, are you Bills?
I'm Bill. I feel like the last 3 times we've done this, I've been on both.
Last time you definitely had Buffalo. The Bills, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with it. Like I said, I mean, the defense to me is just clearing the bar of what it has to be. I would not say that its ceiling is as high as what even Baltimore's can be at its best, right? When they have Kyle Hamilton playing at his best, when Nate Wiggins is playing well on the perimeter, I do think that they just have a level of playmaking on the Ravens defense that the Bills can't match. But I do feel like in terms of just having solid role players everywhere along this defensive front and on the back seven, I think that makes it so much easier on a guy like Von Miller, who was taking a step back from being the dominating force he was a few years ago. But now if he only has to have 5 or 6 quality pass rush reps a game instead of 20 to 25, that's a winning formula for them because they're getting enough from the rest of this defense. Terrell Bernard has been great in Matt Milano's absence, and I'm interested to see how much better Matt Milano can be almost as a force multiplier in terms of their middle of field defense. And I do think that that's going to be necessary, right? I do think that you can get after these safeties. Taylor Rapp has been susceptible to giving up plays downfield, not always the best tackler. DeMar Hamlin can be a bit of a gambler in coverage. He's not always in the right spot, and he's not necessarily a playmaker or, one of the rangy middle of field players. So there are still ways, I think, to take advantage of this team. I just think that the defense reaches the baseline it needs to for what this offense is doing to give them as many bites at the apple as possible to beat most teams in the NFL. And I think that that's just what's been manifested on Sundays over the last few weeks.
All right. In the past, when we've done this exercise, I've made sure we're safe and have one person still saying, settle down. By the time we get to January, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will be the team. However,
come on,
like everybody else, I watched that game on Black Friday, and I cannot do it anymore.
No,
I cannot hold the mantle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Since 2000, there have been 23 teams who have had 11 wins at this point in the season. None have had a worse point differential than the 2024 Chiefs. They are plus 54 on the season, and yet they are 11-1. I am they can't keep getting. We are all they can't keep getting away with this meme. Maybe they'll figure it out, but I'm coming over to Diante's side. I feel like if I had to pick right now and put, my favorite hat on the line here, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I just think they can win different types of games. I hear what you're saying, Ruiz. Ravens took it to them. That was such a rare occurrence to this Bills team. And so I understand it could be matchup based, but I need to see more. Quarterback's playing out of his mind. Offensive line is very good and healthy. They can run the ball in the snow. They can throw the ball 45 times in a dome if they need to do that. And their defense is overachieved. You're right. Would it surprise me if they're in a playoff game and the defense gets lit up? No, because they've had better defenses than this before. And then in a one-game playoff, that defense gets cooked. So I'm with you there. I'm not saying like I feel great about it and they're definitely going to get there, but there are things lining up for them that suggest maybe this is the year the Bills get over the hump with the rest. If this was this Bills team against like a previous version of the Chiefs, then I would still be going with the Chiefs, I think. But this version of the Chiefs, I can't do it. I've seen the Bills beat them, and if they're playing each other tomorrow on a neutral field, or you know what, maybe even an Arrowhead, I might still be tempted to pick the Bills.
Yeah, I've seen them get outplayed by Bryce Young, Aiden O'Connell, and Bo Nix in the last month. Like the benefit of you waste the benefit of the doubt when
that's
that
not
happens.
Exaggeration. Yeah, they really have.
But here's my pitch for the Ravens. So let me ask this: just offense, Buffalo or Baltimore? Which one are you taking?
Honestly, you could genuinely flip a coin, and I think I'd be okay with either.
I think that's a fair answer. Okay,
I think I would say Bills. The numbers would say Ravens. If you're just asking me my feel, no one has a worse gut than me. The gut's always wrong. I'm telling you right now. But my gut says, who would I trust more? I think I would trust the Bills right now. That could be a recency bias, but that's how I feel.
I'm leaning Bills as well, Sheil, but this is truly a coin flip for me.
I mean, you just saw them like playing in the snow, like literally playing in the snow. Like Josh Allen took a pitch off of a pass and scored a touchdown off of it.
Passed and scored a touchdown.
So I think there is a little bit of recency bias.
Probably.
I think the numbers definitely point in Baltimore's way. Okay, now the other side of the ball. Defense. Which one are you taking? I'm taking Baltimore. Like since week 9, they are 9th in EPA. They are 3rd in yards per play allowed. They are 4th in first down percentage allowed. They are 8th in success rate. Like they've kind of figured things out outside of the coverage busts and the penalties. Diante said it earlier. They definitely have the higher ceiling. I mean, I think you can make the argument that the Ravens are the sure thing on both sides of the ball. And I'm willing to concede it's a 50-50 proposition on offense, but it's not on defense.
All right, let's take a break. We come back. We're playing a little game. If you listened last week, you know what the game is, but we've got 3 new teams to talk about. We'll do that in a minute.